In this program, I want to talk a little bit about the lighting in the studio and how that works. All of the lighting in the studio is attached to a grid. We have 48 circuits on our particular grid, and each circuit is then controlled by the controller here. This is the lighting board. So there are 48 channels on the lighting board, 1 to 24 and 25 to 29. The light sockets, or the fixtures, the lights themselves, plug into the numbers. There's a number on the grid that corresponds to the numbers on the channels. These are called channels. To use a channel, what you do is you simply push the slider up to some location. Okay, so here we go. So there we have I'm pushing the slider up, and as I push the slider up, the intensity goes up from 0. I'm on fixture 29, which is circuit 29, to 100. This is full level. The console itself is broken into several groups. These are called the faders. As I said, there's one fader for each circuit or channel on the board. In the section right here in the middle, this includes 2 scene faders. So you could fade from one scene to another scene. And then there's also a master fader. Now the way the master fader works is you can fade the entire board to 0. I'm going to do that now. I'll take 29. Let me bring that back up. So 29 is at 100. I'm going to lower the master fader, and that brings that back down to 0. Above the master fader is a blackout button, and if you hit the blackout button, you black out all of the switches. Below each fader is a push button. It's a toggle on and off. And what you can do is when the fader's down, you can push the toggle on to toggle the light on temporarily to see if you like the setting for it, for example. So I'm toggling a variety of different buttons here. And that's how that works. The monitor in front of us here, the monitor displays up to 96 channels, but we really only use 48. It displays the 2 fader positions for the 2 fader switches, and then the type of fade that you're going to do and cues that are set up. Along the bottom, they're basically programmable keys or soft keys. Depending on what condition the system is in, these will change very frequently. These buttons, the 1 to 8, are the soft buttons right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These buttons at the top are meant for macros. This allows you to set up and patch the system to check the stage. The stage is the entire light system. This shows information about the program to learn the basics. In other words, if you want to have the console learn your actions, and here's how you enter the macros. These are not areas that you'll be working with very much. Over here, this is the the keypad. The way the keypad works is that you have commands over here to the left, you have numbers to the right, and over here you have channels and different word sets. You can, for example, turn a light on in a couple of ways. One way is that you could raise the fader bar, the single fader bar, and another way is you could do it programmatically over here. So that was number 29, so I can just simply hit 29 at full, and it turns the light on the same way. To turn that light off, I need to hit the release key down here, because as you see, the fader for 29 is not illuminated right now. So I'll release that. You can also set up cues. For example, I have a cue set up, Q1. So I have recorded Q1. So I can hit the button that says Q and then the number. So I'm going to hit Q1, and I'm going to select the dual scene fader over here, and I'm going to hit go. And what that does is it brings the lights up to the effective cue. There's another cue that is Q2. I'm going to select that now, Q2, go. And that adjusts the lights to another brightness. So we can use cues to go from one place to the other. So the other thing we do here quite a bit is we use what's called groups. And the groups are ways to put a series of lights and their settings all together on the same block or group. Group is the best word for it. And so what we've done is we record the group by saying group, and then you can select a number for the group, and then you can record. And when you do that, whatever settings you have on the faders are automatically recorded. I have some groups already recorded, so I'm going to go for group. I have group, let's say 10. So now I've selected group 10, and I can select at full. So that turns on group 10 at full. To release the group or to turn it off, I can hit the release key. To go to another group, I have group 11, which is a different set of lights for the studio. Group 11 at, I can say 50 for 50%. And that sets this group to be 50% brightness. Now there's not much to this group, so it's hard to see what's going on with that. Let's go one more. Let's go group 13 at full. That's the full studio light right now. So group 13 at full. I could go group 13 at 20%. And as soon as I have that dialogue with the keyboard and these special keys, it basically is like talking a small sentence to the controller, and it sets everything up. I'm going to hit release. Let's set up group 13 at full. Now what I can do now is I can take the master control and I can lower that group to any brightness that I select. So even though the group is selected with some numbers, if I use the master controller here or the master fader, what happens is I can override the fade. There, it's faded down. And now I can bring it back up to full, and I can hit the blackout. When we're working with the console, it's a good idea to keep track of the lighting situations that you want to do. If somebody came in and inadvertently cleared all the memory, you'd be out of luck. This does have a recording facility on the back. It uses old type discs. So what I recommend is that what we actually do is use a form. Here's a form right here. I'll just put it up there. Here's a form right here. It has the lights that we have, the 48 lights. It has the type of light above this. And you notice some of these lights, some of the circuits don't have a fixture attached. If there's no fixture attached and you bring the fader up, nothing happens. It just puts power to an empty socket, but the light, there's no light there to illuminate. So what you can do is you can put in the numbers of each fixture at the brightness and then give it a group number. That will allow you to retain the information that you need, so if you ever have to go and reprogram your console again for a particular show, you can do it quickly and easily. So these are the basics of our console and the basics of studio lighting.